Hello and welcome to How to Win the Lottery, Sara Levine module, episode number 2, Treasure Island.
Yeah, you got lots of exclamation points there to distinguish it from the thing.
How many? So we've done obviously we did this. We also did the Elif Batuman, the Idiot, and Either Or.
Yeah.
Have we done other books named after other books?
I don't think so. It's got to be the only ones.
End of list.
3 of them. Yeah.
But the fact that we've done 2 separate authors who've done this, good company.
Good company. Washington, D.C., U.S. Senators Tammy Baldwin, Amy Klobuchar, and Tina Smith called on U.S. Department of Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, to give the final approval and release for a $1.05 billion grant for the Blotnick Bridge Replacement Project so that construction on the project can begin again. That's what we call Klobuchar getting it done.
Our next module might have Klobuchar facts, but not enough to satisfy some urges.
Oh, I forgot that we were out of order.
Yeah, we're out of order.
Sorry. You'll be getting Klobuchar facts pretty frequently from now on.
Shreds, which of these do you think most defines your life? Boldness, resolution, independence, or horn blowing?
Probably horn blowing.
Yeah.
I'm not any. I'm pretty independent because I'm like, I don't.
You're a grown ass man.
And like literally nobody could
I would say you're pretty resolute too.
pay for anything for me. Like I have nobody that would maybe resolute. I'm not that bold though.
No.
I lack boldness.
I love this book so much.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's sometimes it's so fun to come in on a book like this after reading something that maybe you didn't like that much.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, cause there's a give and take between books, especially books that we do for this podcast. And sometimes we get real stinkers because we blindly look at them. And so
coming up soon, next module.
And so to have this almost as a response to that, it's just so joyful and so funny and full of like every page there's something to chuckle about. Yeah, it's really, really great. Fun book.
We talked about this in the intro episode to this module, but this was a book on the list of about 20 or 25 books you gave me to read. Basically season 0 of the podcast. Before we were doing the podcast, this was on there, and I was like, oh my God, I love this book.
Yeah.
And I hadn't read it in 6 years, and I read it again, and I loved it.
Well,
again.
We also should mention and maybe try to get to the bottom of why you so deeply seem to relate to these stories.
Narcissistic 25-year-old women.
Yeah, about women who are like sort of really messy and problems for the people around them.
They just seem so fun.
Yeah.
It's Story of My Life by Jay McInerney. It's My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Otessa Moshfegh as like a holy triumvirate. I think they were maybe all on that list.
Yeah.
So you love them too.
I do, yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's something about like, I don't want to say I admire or I have a crush on, but like, I wouldn't want to like be friends with this girl, but I love watching her like pivotally comment on life or whatever.
I have an idea for myself, at least why I like it. I think it's because when we read books like this, we really, really very much enjoy living vicariously through the perspective of a narcissist, because when we encounter this in real life, we often think like, what are they thinking?
Yeah.
And what must it be like to be them? Mm-hmm. And it's fun when it's a young woman, because when it's a young man, which we got for so many years with all the Judd Apatow movies and things like that, we assign that to larger cultural phenomenon like toxic masculinity and like man-child syndrome and things like that. Whereas like when it's a woman, there's something almost feminist about this idea that like women are just as flawed as dudes are, and they have just as and like part of humanity is being like having narcissists among you and having no idea what to do with your life and getting rewired to care only about yourself and things like that. And so like to see it when it's a female protagonist in fiction and we see that there's something refreshing and fun about it. Whereas when it's a male protagonist like this in fiction, we think like I've seen this enough.
Yeah, I think it's also just like we haven't seen this enough. Like we have not seen this many stories. Like it's also like women kind of don't get to do this because like society says you have to do X, Y, and Z. And it feels like they have to do like what her sister is doing, right? Like you have to have a job and you have to like whatever and you have to respect your parents. But it's just like, no, like what if I wanted to be a pirate? Maybe.
Yeah, more stories about reckless women.
Yeah.
And I think that there is something, obviously, like there is a connection there between this sort of protagonist being male versus this sort of protagonist being female, and our protagonist locking on to as a Bible, like a boy's adventure book.
Yeah.
And that's something that is brought up a lot in the novel, that it's like, well, you're not even liking the girl thing. You're liking this thing that is like for boys. Are there even any girls in this book?
But then like that is like seen by the protagonist who's not named like as sort of reductionist. Like, no, it's not about that. Like we're above that. Like, don't think of it like that. Like she says like 10 pages in, this book is going to change my life. Like it feels like she just picks out the book and just like, this is my Bible now, and just sets out on the path.
And it's interesting that you can do that. You can just grab something and be like, no, this is my thing. I think I'm going to be really into this from now on. And then you just like consciously alter your life around that.
Even if like your justification for that is like, no, in Japan, they just read one novel for an entire year. It's like, no, they don't.
Well, that's the very funny line after that where he's like, I'm going to ask my friend from Japan about that. And she's like, don't. Let's continue. There are so many great moments like that in the book that are just, it's so much fun.
It's not like she's living a crazy life. She is just using this as justification. Like the only really crazy thing she does is take money that isn't hers to buy a parrot.
And she stabs her sister too.
Well, that's all. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So one thing in the beginning, one thing at the end.
Yeah.
But
even like when she buys the parrot, it's very much like, because you're in the first person perspective, her justification of it to herself makes sense, even though there's the dramatic irony of us being like, well, that's not petty cash. We know that that's not, that she's not supposed to spend that money. But in her head, there's no room for any other.
Well, she thinks she's doing a good thing.
Yeah.
She's diversifying the pet library, which is, it's not a real thing, right? Is it a real thing?
No, it seems like such a bad idea.
It seems like a really bad idea, but it also seems like that might exist like in Brooklyn somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's just a place where, like a library where you can take out books and return books, you can just take out a pet and return pets. So like if you want to have a cat for the weekend or a fish for the weekend, you can do that.
Yeah.
And so she wants to spice things up by buying a parrot, which if you are, she thinks she should basically be like a buyer for the pet store, the pet library.
Yeah.
Like I think I would do a better job of like picking out exciting animals. And so she's taking initiative. It's just a terrible idea.
And the parrot's a good one too. If you're going to.
Yeah.
And also it's thematic to Treasure Island.
Right. But also, like, yeah, if you want, like, nobody wants a parrot long term, but if you want to have a parrot for a week, like, you would have a parrot for a weekend.
Because parrots, as we know from Adam Levine's book, live to be 80, 100.
Yeah.
I mean, they talk about it in this book too, but it's like,
Well, not this parrot.
That is you have to commit yourself to that.
Yeah.
You can't just bail on a parrot.
Or just poison it and suffocate it in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Because if you described the situation and the circumstances of this girl's life, this young woman's life, she's 25, with a different intent, it would be like the most depressing shit of all time, where she like has a bad relationship and her boyfriend dumps her and she like gets to move in with her parents because she doesn't have a job and she loses her job and she doesn't have any money and like her friend doesn't want to talk to her and she like tries to rekindle old relationships and like nobody wants anything to do with her.
Inching toward a nervous breakdown.
But the way that Sarah Levine writes it, it's like, this seems like an adventure. And it doesn't matter that she doesn't have a job or that she doesn't really have any friends or she doesn't have a boyfriend or her parents are like kind of hippy dippy and her sister kind of hates her or whatever. It's like, no, she's doing something.
You know what it's a little bit like is if you, I guess the show Kevin Can Fuck Himself was kind of like this. But if you look at any sitcom, literally any sitcom, whether it be Seinfeld or Friends or How I Met Your Mother or New Girl or whatever, a lot of those shows are like wildly dark. People do really evil things on them. And because of the lighting and because of the way things are cut and because there's a laugh track, we accept that evil as a part of the bit. And we allow these characters to continue doing their evil because they're charming.
Well, that's like the point of Seinfeld and Sunny. Like these are the worst people you would ever meet.
Yeah. But we forgive them and love them because of the aesthetic construction around their actions. Yep. And that's kind of what's going on here.
because we're in her head, it is seen as like an adventure.
Yeah.
If we saw it from the sister's head, it would be like, oh my God, my burnout sister is such an idiot.
Yeah, it's like Tampa,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like when you read Tampa, you're in the head of a sociopathic sex criminal, but it's written like it's erotica because
horny,
that's how she views it.
Right.
This book's less dark than Tampa is, of course.
This is just a local reference. She talks about the Front Bottom, which I don't know that I've ever really heard of, but Front Bottom's New Jersey band from my college.
Yeah, is that the same thing?
I think so. I think that's the name of their band. So there's your bottom and there's your front bottom for girls.
How long have the Front Bottoms been around for?
I was at one of their very first shows in a dorm room and I was just like, this sucks.
We're sorry, Brian.
No, I mean, like, it just wasn't for me. Like, so that was in 2009.
This book's from 2010.
So maybe Front Bottoms was like a thing then. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they were just a band making music for like they were like many other rock bands. It felt like they were just like singing songs to get laid. And like it worked. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like it was just like singing songs like for women. And then, I saw them at fucking Lollapalooza. Like it's just like, that's crazy to me. But, anyway, Front Bottom.
Have you ever read Treasure Island?
No.
Robert Louis Stevenson.
Do you know did Egg get through it? Because she was saying she wanted to either read it or do the audiobook.
I think she said she read half of it.
Is it for kids?
Yeah, it's a young adult book.
Okay. Have you read it?
Yeah, when I was 13 or something, or 10.
Okay.
I liked it. I liked it when I was a kid. It's weird because it's a young adult book, but it's like a classic young adult book. So the reading level of it right now would probably be like for 17-year-olds. Yeah. But like back in 1920, kids could read it and it would be like, yeah, this is how everyone.
Do you think it works as like the foundation for like this kind of life quest?
No. I mean, I think anything can. I think you can map anything on top of anything and have it work, and I think that's what's happening here. You can create your four like core values, and then out of anything, and then move forward with that. And at least one of them is nonsense, right? What is horn blowing? Yeah.
I just think of like the MCA directorial pseudonym
Nathaniel Hornblower. I mean, it's literally like that that thing, but it's also I think to boast.
Yeah.
But there's so many times in this text where she's like in trouble and then she's just like, no, this is not trouble. This is an adventure. Mm-hmm. And that I think is maybe a legitimately good way to look at the world.
Yeah. For as much as jumping to the very end, like for as much as like following Treasure Island as a rule to life does not really work for her, and they have to have an intervention for her, even though nobody really wants to do the intervention other than her sister. At the end of the text, it kind of propels her forward. Like she drives. She does a thing that she does not want to do, and she does not feel comfortable doing.
And she returns the book, so she returns the book past it.
She also does say, could a book like Little Women teach me what I needed to know? So like, she didn't really learn any lessons, right? Like she's still in the same spot that she was. But, even though you could look at it like, she lost her job. She broke up with her boyfriend. She had to move back home. She all that, like she ruined her sister's relationship. She maybe temporarily ruined her parents' relationship. Like all this different stuff that like did not go right. She grows a little bit.
Yeah,
it kind of works.
Steer the boat, girlfriend.
Steer the boat, girlfriend.
That is a legitimately great thing to have like a hype man say to you all the time.
Yeah.
If you just had someone behind you saying, steer the boat, girlfriend, you would get more stuff done.
What about it's big, it's hot, it's back?
That's also pretty good. Yeah. I mean, that's 100% what would happen to me if I had a parrot. It would not say any of the stuff that I wanted it to say.
Well, there's a really sad moment that is not really played up that much in here where like the parrot has learned to sob like her at night, which is, we never see her do that.
Very, very, very dark.
We never like read her do that because this is all told like from her. She's like has a sides like dear reader, like she's talking to us, like telling the story to us. And only when she hears the parrot, like I think it's when she drops it off at Patty and Sabrina's house or apartment to see if like she can move in there. I'm like, wow, it cries like a girl.
Yeah.
And like, that is so sad.
Yeah. But again, it's doing that thing of misdirecting the sadness with horn blowing.
Yeah.
Right. And with just being No, it's fine. It's all good.
He's studying for a role.
Yeah, it's a joke. It's fun.
Yeah. I don't even know like what to talk about just because I love so much of this. And like so much of it, I think it's like watching a comedy and trying to talk about a comedy movie where it's like you just sort of start talking about like your favorite jokes and your favorite lines and stuff, which I don't really want to do. I think one of my favorite sequences though, maybe my favorite sequence is when she lies down in the backseat of her sister's car as her sister drives to Mr. Tatum's house.
Yeah.
And then she sneaks in because she hears her sister scream. And then she walks in and sees him going down on her.
Or she's sitting on his face, yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like, oh my God.
Do you call it going down on someone when that person is sitting on their face? It just feels... It feels like the mechanics of that. Like you wouldn't say going down on when you're like...
Depends on, I guess, who moved
upward.
Where.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yes.
Okay.
But also like
it's all semantics.
The idea of her in the back seat, knowing that she has bad geography, doesn't drive, doesn't really know where she is, hears the sister stop at a burger joint and then a coffee place and wondering like, is her boyfriend here? And then stopping at the house and then waiting and then walking in on it is just like
the multiple drive-thrus is very funny. Plus having the car be just like filled with garbage.
And then having the sister like throw the burger wrapper and hit her on the neck.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
And then the other really funny bit from that is she walks in, they have a confrontation, and then the sister storms out and leaves, not knowing that she was in the back seat. So now she has to get a ride home from the guy that was just going down on her sister. Yeah.
But then like the weird, not the weird thing, but like the then further wrinkle to find out that her mom was having an affair with that same guy and like almost ruined the family when those two daughters were both alive.
And then dad just goes out and lives in the car for
is really funny, but it's like, that's like really, and then that comes back later when like they have the intervention and the mom goes and pats like Lars on the leg and she's just like, oh boy.
But you could paint this entire thing tonally as a completely different novel if you just play it completely straight without the laughs, and it becomes this like kitchen sink drama of such darkness. Yeah.
But it's not.
It's not. It's better for not being that because I don't want to.
It's hornblowing.
It's hornblowing. Yeah.
Like this book in the wrong hands or with the wrong tone is not unreadable, but like does not stand out.
No, I think it is. Because the thing that makes it stand out is Sara Levine's charm.
Yes.
And the tone that she takes and the jokes. What did you think of Lars? Did you like him?
I think Lars is fun. I think Lars has maybe one of the more real moments of the entire thing when like at the intervention he's like, I could see us getting back together, and then she calls him after she stabs her sister, and he's like, things change.
Yeah, you should not have stabbed your sister. That made things worse. And another part that made me very sad was after the parents get home from the emergency room, the sister calls home and she's like, is she going to come visit me?
Yeah.
And then they end up talking on the phone, but it's like, yeah, she still wants her sister.
Right. Because the parents come home at like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And they're like, you're going. She's scared out of her mind. She thinks you're going to lose her hand. Like she needs you there.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's like the sisterly bond, right? Like just like they're not going to get along, but still even though.
Yeah, I would not fucking visit my brother in the hospital.
Well, even though the protagonist is like, no, we had different childhoods. Like, you don't think it's the same, but like they still like they grew up with the same traumas and the same happinesses and whatever.
Yeah. It's very funny. Like the casual meanness that she has to her sister, where she's just very casually like, well, of course she's not as attractive as I am, or she's got all that extra weight or whatever. That's just so casually mean under the pretense of like, I just tell it like it is, you know?
It's shocking and unpleasant to see your sister getting eaten out by anyone, let alone an old man. I screamed, she screamed, I gagged a little. Then he, Mr. Tatum, got up, wiping his mouth with his sleeve, and tried to pretend this was some kind of situation where people can look each other in the eye.
Yeah, there's no dignity in that situation.
But there's so much of this, like, there's moments in here that are just so funny and sweet. Like when the mom is like looking through the newspaper and like reading job listings to her. And says, want a job that will meet. She spelled this out and winked before continuing your expectations. And then later when she's at the pretzel place and she goes, you like soft pretzels. It's like that's such a mom thing. It's just like trying so hard to do a nice thing.
Yeah. And also like underselling your daughter, like your 25-year-old daughter being like, you could work at the pretzel stop at the mall.
I mean, Patty Pachalski or whatever, this idol from 5th grade is just working at a sandwich shop in the mall. Like it doesn't, you know.
Do we ever, okay, so here's a question that I had. And it's possible that it's something that I missed. Patty says that she doesn't understand why the narrator was so mean to her in 7th grade.
Right.
Does that ever come, do we ever learn what that was or come back? It's just that our narrator has left a trail of wreckage behind. And
I think she's probably wronged everybody in her life.
And the wreckage doesn't mean anything to her because it's not, because it's just what she's done. It's the consequences of her actions, but they're not consequences to her.
Right.
Yeah.
And she only sees Patty as like a good thing because she needs something, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh, this girl who I did think was the coolest girl in the world for a year, I now have the opportunity to like reconnect with her because I need a place to live. And like, she probably has a place to live. She's got three bedrooms. Like, look at that.
Yeah. And she's like, I didn't know you were a lesbian.
Yeah. When did that happen?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's just a casual wreckage of like ruining everything in her life. Like obviously her family will not give up on her. It seems like Lars and Rena won't give up on her, but like they're coming close.
Yeah. Rena's funny too, because Rena's also a jerk.
Yeah.
And her like, oh, I got the job at the pet library. I actually was working there before you even quit.
Mm-hmm. And then she's like, she basically says like, me and Lars went out, but like we didn't even touch hands. Like we just really both miss you.
Yeah.
Which is sweet, but also crazy.
And like almost definitely not true. Right.
Yeah. There was a part earlier that I really liked. Oh, it's when she's trying to wait for her sister to figure out what Adriana's doing. And this just reminded me because you had pointed out when we did Short Dark Oracles, nailed it, about the bathroom at the color of a hay.
That's right. Yeah.
And then you said something else in here.
But
yeah. There was something, she wrote a thing that's not exactly the same thing, but it reminded me of the very specific way when she's waiting for Adriana to come home. She writes, I became 118 pounds of human ear vibrating with every impulsion of air, every click and creak of the house until just as the digital clock on the stove said 11:28, her figure loomed in the doorway. Just like the like becoming an ear. Like there's like a very specific way that like I have not heard described before.
But it's also something that the talent of it is that once it is described in that way, a way that you've never heard before, you immediately know what it is.
Yes.
And you understand the circumstance and the emotion that comes from. Like she describes the bird, I think, as like coming at her eye like a migraine, and then talks about the bright colors.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, I know. Because if you've had that headache,
Right.
you know the eye, and you know what if you know exactly what that feels like,
Yes.
and what then you can associate it with what she's talking about.
Yeah.
It's remarkable to draw that comparison, a comparison that you've never heard before, and to have that comparison immediately recognizable and feel true is, I mean, that's so creative and such. I mean, that's what writers do, right?
And I think that's like a real strength of hers in this is that she's able to do that, but also has like the moment I read before about like the mom reading job listings. Like there's so many like interpersonal, like just normal everyday things that she is really good at describing. But then also things like you have a parrot flying at you and like what that looks and feels like is not a description or like a feeling that people have at the ready.
Right.
And she does. And she does it in a way that you like you're saying, know exactly what it is, even though you've never had it and will probably never see that happen.
Hopefully. Yeah.
Well,
I don't
unless you want an adventure.
Yeah, right. I do want an adventure.
I like that the mom is like a poet. Like she writes this like very long poem for the bird. Like everybody loves Richard. It seems like everybody loves Richard.
Yeah.
Even though Richard is like a real pain in the ass. Or maybe Richard's a pain in the ass because we're looking at it through the protagonist's eyes.
I think that's exactly what it is. I think everybody loves him and he's fun and charming and probably a beautiful bird. And then the one person who should be responsible for him
is just over it.
Because she can't take care of anything that's not herself. Like she can't be responsible for anything else.
Like Lars seems like emotionally devastated. He's like, nobody even told me that Richard died. Like he's like so sad. And the dad is sad. The dad like gives up his grieving period to like bury the thing in the back. Although it's also funny that like the dog next door is like carrying the bird around. Like that's just never talked about. It's just like,
I also like that they're like, they get the dad out of the car to bury the bird by being like, you're the only one that's strong.
You're so strong.
It's like you can dig a hole in the backyard. It's not that hard.
Although she says it's frozen. Like he can't even dig that.
That's a good point.
He can't dig that deep.
Right. That is something that we should note is that regionally.
Yeah.
Right. We were trying to figure out where it was and we sort of landed on Chicago just
Because Sarah
because,
Levine's Chicago, yeah.
But it's sort of generic Midwesty during a winter season in a urbanish area.
Well, she talks about like at the very end, the only real geographic thing other than like knowing that there's a mall is she says, I know what an emergency room in a metropolitan hospital would look like. So you kind of have a sense of like urban area or whatever. Like it's like a busy kind of like.
I've never been to an emergency room in a major city.
I guess I went to one when Dylan got hit by a taxi, but like I didn't really go inside. Like I was in the ambulance.
Yeah.
Dropped him off, like hung out there with Nancy, and then like, but I didn't go like in, but like that was in the ballpark of.
Never done it. Spent a lot of time in emergency rooms, but they've all been these like weak ass suburban ones.
Weak. I think that's also something like in terms of the don't know where it is, don't know a name for the central character. I think it's typically done so that you can put yourself in these, but it's also like nobody has ever taken Treasure Island as like the rule to life and then forsaken everything else.
It's interesting because also, you know, there is that rule in fiction where it's like the attempt to be broad as a means of relating to people and allowing people to relate to your character generally turns people off because if they don't have anything specific to relate to, they're not going to relate to it. Whereas if you are as specific as you can possibly be, even if the circumstances aren't exact, the emotions are. And so you can map yourself onto that character. And I am different from this woman in so many ways. And yet reading it, I'm just like, I understand all of this. I understand all of these emotions. I don't think that I'm a narcissist or reckless with other people's feelings or anything like that. But throughout this entire book, I was just like, yeah, I get it. Steer the boat, girlfriend. You know?
The only other, I'm going to close the highlights page I have on Goodreads, but the only other highlight that I love that we've not talked about yet is very early on when she still has a job at the pet library. She says, it was intoxicating to realize I could say no to her. A few days later when she asked, did you clean the litter boxes? I said, by God, I did not clean the litter boxes. The truth is I had cleaned them, but I was still getting the hang of no business and like the way that the word felt in my mouth. It's very funny to like do the work and then be like, no, I didn't do that.
Yeah. Also, Nancy, is that that character's name?
Nancy Wong, Mrs. Wong, I think.
She's a great character too because she's the right kind of exasperated. Yeah. Because she's just like, I gave you so much lateral, like I gave you so many chances and you just like, it's not unreasonable to ask you to lock the door when you leave and to not steal $1,000 from me.
We also never get like explanation of like who vandalized. It didn't really vandalize, but kind of vandalized the shop.
Right. I love that stuff too. Cause you don't need to know.
Or it couldn't have just been the animals because like the cats eat the fish, but then like the cat gets tied and somebody shaved the dog, right?
It's probably those kids in the car.
Yeah.
That were screaming or whatever.
But I also like her as a character, Mrs. Wong, because it feels like the kind of job where whether it was your idea or you like inherited the business or whatever, it's like, what am I going to do with, like, I can't stop the business because I have to do something with all these animals. And it just feels like it's not really that much work, but it feels like an unbearable amount of work to like offload this. And also like the very simple backstory of like her mom needs a new hip, so she's saving up money. It's like, you can't really like end this business and start a new thing because like you're saving up money for like an active concern. So she's like, I guess we'll just do the pet library. It's like, well, this is a crazy idea. What are you doing?
We should start a pet library.
I think so. I think it's a good idea. Don't do a bookstore. Just do a pet library.
We got to do the bookstore.
Nobody's emailed in. We're getting like, the podcast is growing. We're 30,001 downloads now. But nobody has written in about, maybe because we've only said it on like one episode, but like, what do you want to see in the library? Email lottery@cageclub.me.
Yeah. What do you want to see in a bookstore?
Bookstore or a pet library.
Yeah. Oh, I had a lot of fun thinking of this as a film because there are 1,000 great actresses that can play this main role. And I think the one that I settled on was probably Hannah Einbinder.
Because you had listed a bunch of people, and like as soon as you said her, like I just pictured Tatiana Maslany.
Yeah, she's a little old for it.
I mean, so is Hannah Einbinder, probably.
Yeah, she's like 30, so
close.
I think she can play younger than that.
Tatiana's what, like 35 maybe?
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, you just need somebody who's like exasperated but confident, kind of.
And it's such a fun role.
Yeah,
it would be so fun to see this on screen.
Yeah, it seems very doable.
Yeah,
I wonder. Well, we talked to her in a couple of weeks. Like, I wonder if this was optioned or if this was ever considered. Because like it doesn't seem expensive to make either.
I wonder if people don't like questions like that, though.
I know. Well, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I feel like the only like weird or difficult thing about making this is like you need a parrot.
Right.
But you can get a parrot.
You can get a parrot. I'm sure they had a parrot in the original Treasure Island movie.
Yeah.
Which I'd never seen.
The other thing I wanted to talk about that we have touched on, but we have not really spent a lot of time on it, is the intervention that isn't really an intervention, but it's kind of an intervention, and that like her spiritual healer couldn't be there. She had to pay a parking ticket or something.
Mm-hmm. The one person she wanted there.
Yeah, but everybody is so like dedicated to this to some degree, except the dad is falling asleep and the mom gives her $100 and like she spends 80 of it on a tube, like a tub of body cream.
She makes a pie, and it seems more like a social gathering than anything else. And then when
it's just like every character we've met in the book is in the living room now.
It's always, but there is something about a book that does that where you put all the characters in a room together. It seems like books drive toward that moment.
Yep.
And so you want to see, Lars interact with Ms. Wang.
But it's really funny to see like most of the people just like, it's fine. Like it's ultimately just kind of okay.
Right. This is not heroin. She's addicted to the book Treasure Island.
Like the only one who really, the driving force there is Adriana, and she like has a reason to be upset, but also at the end of the day, it's like,
she's also deflecting from her own disastrous personal life.
Adriana.
Yeah. To focus on her sister.
Well, I think that's also like, it in the perspective of things, like it is not, the protagonist is not in the right to blow up this relationship that she has, but also she as like a 22-year, like she's younger, so we don't know how old she is, but like say 22, 23, whatever, probably should not be having an affair with like a 60-year-old man. Like, you know what I mean? Like it feels...
You should not have sexual relationships with your parents' friends. I feel like that's a fair thing to say.
Yeah. And so even though she is like, I think rightfully pissed that her sister meddled and like blew up her spot and told her family and whatever, net positive probably for Adriana to no longer be in that relationship.
Also, Don Tatum, real funny name. That's a great name for a character.
Don Tatum,
for like an old man that we're introduced to him with a woman sitting on his face. Don Tatum is a perfect name.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It seems like a good dude, kind of. Just like,
he seems fine.
Yeah. I love this book. Just go read this book. It's 169 pages. It's very short. You can read it in an afternoon if you want to. This made me even more excited for the hitch.
Me too.
Because the hitch is like twice as long. So she has more room to play.
Super psyched.
I don't know anything about the hitch other than there's a dog on the cover. We were talking last episode, Short Dark Oracles, 2 for 2, nice. About how she feels like an animal person, like a kindred spirit with Lisa Hannawalt. Here we got a parrot. There we got a dog. Like, I don't know. It feels doable.
Yeah, it feels doable.
This could also be like an animated thing too.
Yeah.
Maybe less so, but maybe hard because there are a bunch of animals in there, but I don't know. Anything else to say about?
No, let's see what I guess say.
Before we get there though, we have a comment on Spotify.
Okay. Spotify. It's so weird that it exists on Spotify.
Mm-hmm. On the Sound and the Fury episode, I don't remember what this is.
Okay.
No. It's not a bad thing. I will brace you when there is a bad thing.
Anytime it's like classic literature, I feel like I'm about to get dunked on by someone that's like very snobby.
We might get dunked on here. I don't know, but they open with a compliment from Peter, I guess. Pieter. Hi, great podcast.
All right, I'll take it.
The Shakespeare quote is from Macbeth.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember what that was in context for, but.
Oh, Sound of Fury signifying that. Yeah.
Oh,
sure.
That's all we're talking about. Okay.
Is that the whole comment?
Yes.
All right. Thanks, man.
Cool. I'm gonna check YouTube too. Hold on.
Oh, it is. It's from the also like because you were talking about this earlier today. It's from the Tomorrow speech.
Yes. Oh.
Macbeth. Yeah.
Also, Tomorrow being adapted.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. But also, Daisy Edgar Jones. She did Normal People, Crawfish Sing, and now this. She's in at least 3 high-profile-ish.
Could be the protagonist in Treasure Island, too.
Sure. We've got 2 YouTube comments. Right. YouTube is gaining traction. Alex says on the Megan Boyle interview, interesting.
Hell yeah, Alex.
Just going to thumbs up that. And then on the End Zone episode, long comment, either channel says, after another read of this, I can't help but compare it to my time in the military.
Oh, boy.
I always got the feeling that the first part of the book is them training before deployment. The middle section of the football game is the actual deployment. And the final section are the consequences that happen to military members when they get back.
Yeah, okay. I've never been in the military.
Not yet.
Generally have a immature and bad attitude about that stuff.
But,
But God bless that
I like that
person.
people are listening and thinking about things and commenting on things.
Yeah, I just like being like more broadly connected to a book loving community.
Like on Too Fast, we have one listener who listens on YouTube and like leaves like thoughtful comments like once every couple of months. And then every other comment that we get is a 60-year-old white dude who's like, not the movie. Fuck is this? It's just like, well, don't watch, don't comment. Why are you taking the time? Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have an email address, lottery@cageclub.me. If you want to write in about this book, any book.
Or I'll also say, if you want to make a suggestion as to an author that we can do a deep dive on, should be someone with anywhere between 3 to, I would say no more than 5 books. And they should be living and relatively accessible. So that means no, John Grisham or something like that.
Imagine if we did a John Grisham module. And at the beginning, we're like, we bag the interview. We read all of his books and then he bails.
I could see it happening. Or he dies before we finish, because John Grisham is probably pretty old, and those are a lot of books.
How many books do you think he's written? I'm gonna use
87.
Google AI mode. You're saying 87?
87.
I'm saying 61. I'm not gonna fact check if this is right. I'm just gonna Google this and see what comes up. Has John Grisham written 87, 61? He's got 37 consecutive #1 fiction bestsellers.
So probably not 87 books then.
There's no AI overview here.
Are you on Wikipedia?
Yeah, novels. There's 4, 6, 8. Where are the other halves? Okay. I think it's less than both of what we guessed.
Do you mean fewer?
What's the difference? I always correct people to say fewer.
I know you do.
Less,
That's why I fucking did that.
but I also don't know the difference. I know that it's a joke from Game of Thrones.
I didn't know that.
Your favorite show. More than 47 New York Times best-selling books. 44 books, according to Facebook 1 year ago.
How does he have 47?
I don't know. Facebook's lying, I guess. Right. I don't know. But in the 40s.
Somebody's lying.
Somebody's lying. Anyway, we will do John Grisham if he agrees to do the podcast.
Or we'll do a single John Grisham book in the Poplit module when we have the Poplit module.
Which is not going to be this calendar year.
Nope.
Probably won't be next calendar year.
Yep.
Who knows when it'll be. But email lottery@cageclub.me, write in about this book, any book, or like Shreds was saying, authors that you want us to do who have a handful of books, or what you want to see in the bookstore. And we'll read it on air or comment on Spotify or YouTube, I guess. Meg's reaction to Treasure Island. Wow, what a great book.
I knew Meg would love it.
I took this book out of the library and I was tempted to keep it, but that's too on the nose. This book was just so readable. It actually took me a bit to get into it because I kept distracting myself by taking a lot of notes. Parentheses. Since it's a library book I can't highlight, I need to write out the quotes in my notebook. So I made a conscious effort to mostly avoid taking notes and just enjoy the book. So there's a universe in which this email's a lot longer, but where I didn't enjoy myself as much.
Yeah.
Steer the boat, girlfriend.
What if someone wrote a book called Treasure Island with 3 exclamation points and then 3 question marks after it, and it was them using this book as a Bible to,
would love that.
to increase their,
I think also, I want Sarah Levine to write, Little Women with 3. I want to return to this character.
Yeah.
But only if there's a story there. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's 10 years later and, she's married or something.
Yeah. I think maybe the suggestion at the end of the book that she does that is enough.
Right. That's what gave me the idea. I want...
Yeah.
We go back to the last episode. I just want more Sarah Levine stuff. You know what I mean? That's all I want. I got about halfway through Treasure Island, the original, before starting Treasure Island with this one. And I do think that there is something to be gained by being familiar with the original novel. There's a fun 19th century flavor to this novel. The voice of the narrator does sound like she's imitating the original one, but not in a way that's obvious or overdone. But more than that, Egg writes, the story kind of reminded me of another 19th century story called The Jury of Her Peers. Spoilers ahead, I actually recommend that listeners pause the podcast now and quickly read the story. It's quick and good. Well, I can't do that.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
It's about a woman who's getting charged with murdering her husband, but a couple of women discover that he killed her pet parrot by wringing its neck that had otherwise been abusing her. So these women hide the motive from the men searching for it to protect her, since they, the women, know she did it in self-defense. In Treasure Island, this one, the narrator is attempting to mimic the masculine traits of the 19th century, hence being the one to wring the bird's neck. Another of the narrator's quote-unquote flaws from the 19th century perspective, parentheses, I'm ignoring the fact that she's a woman mimicking a man's story for this argument, is she's mixing the spheres of masculine and feminine. She's obsessed with the masculine book and wants to copy its traits, but then she goes snooping into the emotional affairs of her sister. The affair coming out is what sparked the violence at the end of the novel.
Is Meg saying that snooping is a girl trait?
I guess so.
Real feminist Meg.
Could she have been quote-unquote successful if she actually adhered to her core values? By snooping on her sister's personal life, she was being snaky, not bold. And truly, living at home isn't independent, which she acknowledged in the book. I'll be honest, I don't know what hornblowing is, so I can't speak to that. All in all, a great book. I can't wait to make
What do you
others
mean
read.
you don't know what hornblowing is? It's just blowing a horn.
It's also funny to me that, like, in the book, there's at least one part where she's like, independent, bold, resolute. I don't remember the fourth. It's like, because it's nonsense. It doesn't mean anything. Like, even the character who is like adhering to these 4 traits that she feels embody this text, and she can't remember what the fourth one is.
Hornblowing.
Hornblowing.
That's the most important one.
It's the only good one.
In my mind, it's the most important one.
I'm very excited for The Hitch. I'm really, really excited for The Hitch. I love this book. Just read it. Like, it's
hell yeah.
It's
like, read it.
so easy to read.
You will love it. This is like we were talking earlier about like can't miss movies in recommendations, and it was like, you know, Back to the Future, Wayne's World, My Cousin Vinny.
When we were having dinner, yeah.
I feel like this is a sort of a can't miss recommended book. I guess there are some types of guys that I would say, like maybe like a guy that really reads a lot of Jack Reacher books or something that might not
So
love
don't
this
give us
one.
the real.
But like, you know, I think I think this is a pretty can't miss recommendation.
Well, I was saying to you, like, I think I've said it on here before, that I want to buy Margaret's nieces and nephews, mine now through marriage as well, every year for Christmas. I want to buy each of them a book.
Yeah.
And so the 2 that live in Pennsylvania who live near us, I know better, and I know like what they, and like I know that one is like a big reader, and so whatever. But like the other 3, I think just don't read as much. And so the oldest of those 3 is 15 or 16, and she's a girl. And I'm like, I think this is kind of a perfect book for her.
Yeah,
so I
it's
bought
good.
this for her for this Christmas. I hope she reads it, because like it's not big. There's a bird on the cover. Like it's cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I think this is a book that, like, when you gave me the list of books, even if you're not like I asked for a list of books, like, because I wanted to get back into reading and whatever, but it's short, it's approachable, it's not difficult, but there's depth to it, and it's funny. Like it's hard to be funny as a writer.
I think
she does it.
And I think if you're leaning into recommending a book to someone, I think funny is the way to go. Find yourself a funny book.
And just keep reading those funny books.
Yeah. Today's crime is pet murder, obviously.
Theme song.